Devlin accused her of theft, and she was too angry to feel anything else. However, when she calmed down, she searched her suitcase for the disposable cameras she'd bought for the trip. She took the cameras to the drugstore to get the film developed. When she got the pictures, she felt her anger rise once again. Welcome back, family. I hope you are doing well. If you've invested time in this story, stay tuned while I bring more of it to you. If you are new to the channel, please go back to the beginning to catch up. I promise you won't be disappointed. Now let's get back to the story. The pictures told a story of their own. She'd only taken pictures of the places she'd visited and of Devlin. There weren't any pictures of anything to do with the show or the designs. Sometime after listening to Devlin's accusation, she made a decision. Chastity decided to go on with her life. When and if Devlin wanted to talk, she would listen, but she wouldn't let him change her mind. This was the 21st century, and she was a modern woman who was successful and who didn't need a man to validate her. Once she had that frame of mind set in, she smiled her first real smile in hours. On Monday, she entered the health club, confident and determined to make it through the day without a hitch. She welcomed Debbie's exuberance, and she survived. By midweek, she was back to her old routine. In the back of her mind, she knew that Devlin was going to make some kind of appearance. She would cross that bridge when she got to it. Debbie's wedding was weeks away, and she needed to focus on that. Right now, it was the only thing that made sense. 2 weeks later, Devlin called. He wanted her to come to his house to discuss his allegations. But Chaz insisted that the meeting be at her apartment. She didn't feel comfortable being on his home turf. He agreed. Chaz checked her calendar to make sure she had no other meetings and found that she had a doctor's appointment. She was due for a physical and couldn't postpone it. If she hurried, she could squeeze it in and still be home in time to meet Devlin. That morning dawned clear and cool. She dressed appropriately, a long wool skirt and sweater set in her favorite pastel green color. The doctor was pleasant, and when she told him that she had a tight schedule, he got down to business. She thought it was over when he announced that he needed to take routine blood samples. "So, dear, how are things with Mr. Wade?" he asked. Chaz rolled up her sleeve and winced as he poked. "Devlin is fine. I'll be seeing him this evening," she answered easily. After all, it was the truth. "Good, I'm glad things are going well," he said slowly, inverting the blood tubes. He smiled at her. "It will take at least a week for the results to get back. I'll call if there's anything to report." "Thanks, Doc." Chaz hastily rearranged her sleeves and gathered her belongings to leave. She left the office and headed for hers. Debbie was not at her desk, and Chaz sneaked in. She hadn't sat down 2 minutes when the door flung open and Debbie stuck her head in. "I think you need to hide under the desk, Chaz. The police were here looking for you. I told them that you weren't expected in today." "What have you done?" she said, coming all the way into the office. "Are you serious? What did they say it was about?" Chastity's heart sank into her stomach. Debbie started to laugh. "It seems we are getting some good reviews from our clients. The police department want to meet with you to set up some sort of program for their detectives. You know, the ones with big bellies and a donut in each hand." "Debbie, don't play games with me. I thought they were here for something else." "Well, did you set up an appointment?" Chaz asked. Debbie would never know how relieved she was. "I set it for Friday of next week. You thought I was serious, didn't you? There's something you're not telling me. If the police are involved, I don't want to know. I love you like a sister, and you know that if you were in trouble, Sean would be more than happy to help you. We just can't do anything for you right now with the wedding so close. Chaz, please tell me you aren't in trouble." Chastity watched the worry on her friend's face and swallowed hard. "I thought it was about the cop I sassed this morning. He stopped me for speeding, and I got mad and said something very nasty to him." "Are you sure it was about the club?" Debbie relaxed and nodded. "Yeah, did you get a ticket?" "You know me, I pay those things as soon as I get them. I probably made it to the DMV before he even got back to his station." She smiled, visibly relaxed. So maybe Devlin hadn't gone that far yet. Maybe the reason he wanted to meet was to apologize for his accusation, and maybe she was wishing for the impossible. The afternoon seemed to drag on, and Chaz was very much in favor of it going on and on. Debbie left, and she felt resigned to leave as well. She stopped to pick up dinner because she wasn't sure that she'd be in any shape to cook later. She also stopped herself from dressing up for him. She loved him, but she no longer trusted him. If he was on his way to make up for his gross mistake, She would make him earn it. If not, well, then it was over, and she'd accept it. At 9 o'clock sharp, Devlin rang the doorbell. Chaz buzzed him in. She braced herself because they hadn't seen each other in 3 weeks. She opened the door and the first initial shock took her breath away. It all came rushing back. How he smelled, the feel and taste of him. She stepped back to let him in. Devlin walked in and watched her close the door. When she turned to face him, he swallowed hard. He'd thought this was going to be easy, but it wasn't at all. He had stayed away all this time to get a grip on his emotions, but time hadn't erased his feelings for her. "Please sit down," she said, and took a seat across from him. "So, how have you been?" he asked. "I'm fine, Devlin." She got up to get the envelope of pictures and handed it to him. "These are the pictures I took. I had 2 disposable cameras and I had them developed. I didn't take any other pictures. The film you found isn't mine. Now that I've given you the pictures, tell me why you think I would sell your designs, and why would you think I would do anything to hurt you? It's very easy for you to plead innocence, and I know that you resented Ricardo and even Nicole's involvement with me. It's all part of your control paranoia. You left that film by mistake. I'm here to give you a chance to come clean. I won't turn you into the authorities if you tell me who you're working with. You don't threaten my livelihood, and I won't destroy you and your precious club." Devlin stood up and walked to the door. Chaz stood up also. "You really believe I tried to sell your designs, don't you? I was led to believe that when you love someone, you didn't go out of your way to hurt that person. I am truly sorry that you believe I'd hurt you, Devlin. Goodbye." Chaz brushed past him and opened the door for him. Before he walked through, he turned to her once more. "Somehow I figured you'd deny it. I just want you to understand that I don't issue idle threats." This he said with such deadly calm that it sent shivers down her spine. "Whatever you say," she returned and slammed the door. Chastity was not going to cry. She just was not going to allow that big insect make her cry. 3 weeks ago, she would have doubted she would feel this strong, but here she was, minutes after saying goodbye to the man she loved and felt strong. This was something she was going to chalk up to experience. She was right after all. Devlin got what he wanted from her and has moved on. If he could do it, then so could she. From now on, Chastity was going to be like everyone else. She was going to have fun and kick up her heels and just let it all hang out. Yeah, she was going to do all that just as soon as her heart stopped hurting. Who was she kidding? This hurt like hell. Are you feeling sorry for Chaz right now? Comment with a crying emoji if your heart is hurting right now. Let's get back to the story. Chaz sat down in front of her vanity and watched as the tears rolled down her cheeks. How was she going to get through this? She was Debbie's maiden of honor in a few weeks, and she couldn't let her friend down. All she could think about was getting away. Right after the wedding, she was going to go on a long vacation. She needed time to heal. The next morning, she awoke with a monster headache. She still had a business to run, so she went in. "Well, did Devlin get on his hands and knees and beg your forgiveness?" Debbie asked. She was lying in wait in Chastity's office. "Tell me that he came to his senses and you two are back together." "Debbie, for God's sake, don't you have some last-minute thing to do for the wedding?" "No, everything is done thanks to you. Stop skirting the issue. What happened last night?" Chaz sat down at her desk and faced her friend. "Okay, nothing will get done around here until I tell you everything. Devlin came over and we talked. We've come to a mutual understanding. He and I have agreed to end our relationship. It's over, Debbie, and I hurt a whole lot. If you have any compassion for me, you'll give me some space and get me some aspirin. I've done the crying bit, and now my head feels like it's hollow." Debbie's jaw dropped. She got up and walked out of the office. She returned 10 minutes later with the aspirin and a bottle of water and left quietly. Chaz put her head down and cried. She was glad that she was the boss. 2 hours later, after she'd finished all her paperwork, she told Debbie that she was going home. She didn't go home right away. Instead, she drove to the cemetery to her parents' gravesite. She brushed away some dead leaves and knelt down beside the headstone. With more tears streaming down her face, she poured out her anguish. When she was done, she drove home. She took one day at a time. Debbie was on leave and she was filling in. She promised to continue to work after her honeymoon. It was 9 days until the wedding. She practiced keeping her emotions in check. Chaz fully appreciated what Debbie did and cringed when the phone rang for the 40th time in the last hour. "Thank you for calling Michael's Health Club. How may I help you?" she recited. "Chastity? Oh, hello, Dr. Kinney. How are you?" "I'm fine, dear. I'm glad you answered. I wanted to let you know that I got your test results back, and I'd like you to come by as soon as you can. I won't go into anything over the phone. When can I expect you? I can stop by on my way home today. Is that okay?" "That's fine. See you soon." Dr. Kinney hung up. Chaz dropped the phone onto its cradle and frowned. What could possibly be wrong the doctor couldn't discuss over the phone? She mentally went over her health. She felt tired lately, but that was due to the extra long hours she'd been putting in and the lack of sleep since her breakup with Devlin. Otherwise, everything was fine. She drove home and parked, then walked the 4 blocks to the doctor's office. He greeted her warmly and told her to wait in his office. The young doctor he'd hired was just coming out of an exam room. He smiled at her and eyed her appreciatively. She wasn't impressed. She sat across from Dr. Kinney's desk and waited. His office was tastefully done in blue and white striped wallpaper. His credentials hung in dark frames on the walls and on the desk. Pictures of his family and even one of her as a little girl. "I'm sorry, dear. I was just finishing up with a patient when you came. Now let me see. Where did I put your chart?" She watched him sift through a pile of other charts until he found hers. "Ah, there we are. I ordered some routine tests on you, and frankly, I've done these tests on you before. I never really thought to omit them this time either. You probably have your own suspicions. So I don't think it is much of a surprise, but the blood test confirms that you are pregnant. Now I can order an extra test to tell us how far along you are, if you'd like." "Oh my God," Chastity gasped. "Oh dear, would you like me to order that extra test?" "Yes, please, and let me know as soon as you get it. It never occurred to me. I mean, I was careful. Oh my God, I'm going to have a baby." "Yes, dear, it would appear so. My next question to you is about the father. It is that Wade fellow, correct?" "Yes, it is. This is going to be difficult. We broke up a month and a half ago, and I don't think this is something he is going to want to deal with. Doc, I know you care for me, and I love you like a father, but I would like to deal with this on my own. A baby wasn't in my plans either, but I would like to continue with the pregnancy and have the baby. I'll tell him when I'm ready. If Wade won't do the right thing, that's his loss. I've known you all your life, and I also know that there is nothing you can't do when you set your mind to it. You will be a wonderful mother. As far as obstetricians go, I know an excellent one. I'll give you her number." Chaz left the office grateful that she walked. She didn't think she could have driven. A walk was just what she needed to work out her thoughts. Absent-mindedly, she reached up to pull the pins out of her hair and shook it loose. The cool wind felt good. While she walked, she decided 2 things. 1, she wasn't going to tell anyone until after Debbie's wedding. 2, Devlin wasn't ever to know unless he came face to face with her. Wow, did you see that coming? Comment if you think she should tell Devlin about the baby. Comment if you think she should have the baby and raise it alone. Now let's get back to the story. Debbie picked a good day to get married. The air was cold but dry, and the sun was shining as if it was happy to shine on her day. Chaz quickly dressed and headed out. Debbie's new house was full of people. Half-dressed women and young girls laughed and joked as they got ready. Her mother had flown from Florida. She was a plump little thing who sat in the living room organizing hair and makeup. She was a beautician by trade and had the women looking flawless and the girls angelic. A photographer chronicled every detail to make it as memorable as possible. Chastity found Debbie in the master bedroom with her mother. They were both teary-eyed. There should be no crying until after the ceremony. Do you know how much effort I put into helping you look as lovely as you do now? Now stop it before you guys get me started, she scolded them. Chastity, I haven't seen much of you since my arrival. How are you, dear? Asked Debbie's mother. Mrs. Hammond, I'm fine. I haven't seen you in years and you still look the same. It must be the Florida air. Oh, you, I can always count on you to say something flattering. I'm getting older by the minute and was starting to give up on any hope of getting some grandchildren, but now things are looking up. Whoa there, don't expect a whole bunch of them. I want to enjoy being married for a while, Debbie said with a laugh. Chaz shook her head. Anyway, I came to get you guys. The photographer wants one more picture with everyone. Debbie grew quiet as they waited in the side room for the ceremony to start. When the music started, Chaz turned to her best friend. "It's almost time." She kissed her and left to go take her place. Deborah Ann Hammond slowly made her way down the aisle on her uncle's arm to the man she loved. Sean's eyes misted when he saw her. By the time they both got through their vows, they both had tears streaming down their cheeks. At the reception, Chastity smiled until her face hurt. She danced with her escort Mark. He was a complete bastard. Did Sean mention that she was available to him? She was starting to think that he was an octopus. His hands were everywhere. Suddenly, he let go of her waist and stepped back. "May I have this dance?" Devlin's voice said behind her. She turned to him and stared. "What are you doing here?" she asked when she finally found her voice. "I was invited. You look fantastic. And who was the guy with his hands all over you?" Her face shut down. "I am Debbie's maid of honor, and he's the best man." Devlin slipped his arms around her and pulled her close. "Everybody is watching, sweetheart. Dance with me." They began to move and she put her arms lightly on his shoulders. "I want to talk with you. Is there somewhere we could go that's private?" he asked. His expression was grim. "Follow me," she told him. She caught Debbie's eye and mouthed that she would be right back. She led him to a sitting area and waited. "Okay, what's so important that you felt you had to pull me away from my friend's wedding?" "I got a call from Fiorentini, who claims that he was approached by someone who wanted to sell him some designs he recognized as Ricardo's work. I am trying not to get ugly, so I must insist that you cooperate. Tell me who you sold the designs to. I don't know how long I can stall Ricardo. He's demanding satisfaction, and so is Nicole. She wants me to call the police now." Chaz looked at the man she thought was the center of her world and couldn't believe he was the same man. "Did you ever consider that I might be innocent, Devlin? I am still in love with you. Why would I do anything to hurt you? I can't cooperate because I still don't know what the hell you are talking about." Chaz walked away from him, and as she did so, her heart broke into a million pieces. Somehow she had to get through the rest of the evening without falling apart. 2 weeks later, she was at her obstetrician's office for the first time and was nervous. The exam went fine, and she came away with a list of do's and don'ts, a handful of vitamins, and she was now officially a mother-to-be. A few days after that, Debbie returned from her honeymoon. After they looked at the 1,001 pictures she'd taken, she invited Chaz to dinner. Dinner was great, and she smiled at her friend indulgently. "I see Sean has you completely domesticated now. You cook and clean, and I bet he's got you getting his slippers and pipe too," she teased. Sean laughed. Debbie frowned. "Just for that, you can help with the dishes," Debbie said. "No problem. I wanted to speak with you anyway." When the dishes were in the washer, she turned to her friend and hooked her arm through hers. She dragged her into the living room. "Okay, girlfriend, before we go into anything, I wanted to apologize. That's what dinner was for. I forgot that I had invited Devlin to the wedding. I know you were upset seeing him there." "I was upset, but never at you. I was upset at what he said to me. Before I tell you what he said, I want you both to know that I consider you my best friends. 2 months ago, I found out that I was pregnant." "What?" they both cried. "Calm down. I know it's a shock, and I've had all this time to come to terms with the news, and I'm okay with it. I just needed to let you know and feel that you'll respect and support my decision to have and raise my child alone." "What do you mean alone? Don't we get a say in this?" Debbie asked. Chaz chuckled. "Of course you guys will reign supreme as godparents," she told them. "I'm serious about raising it on my own." "Is Devlin okay with that?" asked Sean. "Devlin doesn't know, and I won't be telling him. He is off somewhere playing house with Nicole. He and I won't be getting back together, and I don't think telling him is going to make a difference anyway. When he came to the wedding, it was to harass me about Nicole." Sean and Debbie looked at each other. "Honey, I think Chaz should discuss this with you alone." The women watched him go upstairs. "What do you mean you're not telling him? He deserves the right to know. Besides, you can't exactly hide a pregnancy, you know. He's a member at the club, and sooner or later, he's going to bump into you. What are you going to do then?" "Debbie, I've really given this a lot of thought. I know that legally Devlin has a right to know, but he and I aren't getting along. If I tell him now, he'll think it's a ploy to get him back," Chaz said. "Don't you want him back?" asked Debbie. Chaz shook her head. "No, I don't. He isn't the man I thought he was." After the design show in Paris, he called me to accuse me of stealing his designs and selling them. He's threatened to go to the police if I don't give up my accomplice. That isn't the man I want as a husband or the father of my child. I won't let him make my life any more complicated than it already is. I know I can do this. Debbie stood up and called her husband. He came down and Debbie made her tell him what Devlin was doing. What do you want to do about this accusation, Chastity? It sounds serious, and if he goes to the police, he could make things very difficult for you. In my professional opinion, I think you should prepare for legal action. I thought this guy was crazy about you. Something's not adding up. I don't think he's acting on his own. Tell me everything and don't leave anything out. It took a full hour before Chastity could tell the whole story because Sean kept asking for clarifications. She told him how paranoid Ricardo was about his designs and about his reputation in Europe. She went on to recount the events that took place in Paris and why she left to come home before the show. And she finally told them how Devlin accused her of taking pictures and selling them to some competitor, and also about Ferrantini's supposed encounter with pictures of the designs belonging to Ricardo and Devlin. And as far as I know, he really thinks I'm behind whatever is going on. He went as far as to threaten my business. His very words were that he'd destroy me. How could I have been so blind to his true nature? This is a nightmare. I'm sorry, Chaz. I thought he was a great match for you, too. Chaz, don't you think he made an about-face kind of suddenly? I mean, he was hot for you until this business deal with Ricardo and Nicole. In Paris, you overheard them joking about you and comparing you to Nicole. I think you were set up. I'd be willing to bet that Ricardo was playing Devlin against someone else, and that Nicole is involved in it only to get Devlin back, Sean said. I don't care what the truth is. Devlin and I are finished, Chastity said with feeling. Hey, family, comment if you agree with Chastity. Are you as angry as she is? Let's continue with the story. Would you like me to help you prove it? I have contacts that I could call, and I think inside of a week, we could have it all sorted out. Then you and Devlin can get back together and get married, so I could be the godparent of a legitimate baby, Sean insisted. I truly appreciate the offer, Sean, but I don't want to marry Devlin and I don't need him to raise my child. She cried, patting her still flat belly. Sean said, we won't talk about this anymore for now. Let me do some checking around, and then if I can convince you that everything will get sorted out, will you let me do it? Chaz nodded. Only about getting things straightened out, not about the marriage part. It's over and done with. Okay, let's talk about the baby. We have a nursery to plan and lots of tiny baby clothes to get. This is going to be almost as fun as planning my wedding, Debbie said excitedly. Well, that's it for now. Please come back for the next installment. If you are new to the channel, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye for now.